Wir gehen von dort über auf den nächsten Punkt. Das heißt, wir haben jetzt, wie auch die bisherigen Meetups, nochmal eine FAQ-Fragerunde. Wir haben jetzt aber hier zum ersten Mal auch Support von ThingsBoard. Das heißt, wir haben einen ThingsBoard-Entwickler, einen Softwareentwickler mit im Team oder mit im Termin. Das ist Illia Barkov. Und er wird uns eben für Fragen und Antworten zur Seite stehen. Das heißt, die Fragen, also wir werden dann auf Englisch switchen. Das heißt, Sie können aber auch die Fragen gerne weiter auf Deutsch stellen im Chat, dann würde ich eben entsprechend übersetzen. Hi Ilya, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for inviting for this meeting. Yeah, I'm engineer in product team of ThingsBoard. Actually, I don't have a prepared presentation, but I have seen with, I really appreciate this meeting, and some ideas looks really interesting, and I want to show maybe some features or something not found points in our site that may help developers or anybody to create your solutions. One second, please. Okay, could you see my browser?
Yes, we can see your browser.
Yeah, okay. I want just show not highly announced, but maybe useful part of our documentation is device library. You probably never heard about this, but previous case remind me about it. Here you can find some useful guides that will help you to connect or send some data. And for example, Raspberry Pi Pico W can be connected without using some extra MQTT broker or something like this. And you already have here code, and it may be helpful for you. That's actually the thing that I want to say. And
Okay,
I'm ready to answer the question if you have.
Okay, thank you. Indeed, I wasn't aware of this part of the documentation yet, so I think this is quite useful if you have hardware and want to connect it with ThingsBoard. Okay, I'm having a look into the chat. So there is indeed there are some questions regarding scalability limits of ThingsBoard. So
yeah,
I'm reading them out. So what are the scalability limits of ThingsBoard? E.g., how many devices can be managed? And there's an additional question if there is any request limit, a number of requests ThingsBoard can handle per second. So
actually, yeah, this limit depends on setup. If you have a cluster setup with a lot of core nodes, rule engine nodes, maybe even transport nodes, depends on what you want to send, then it can handle. You can easily find on our site example for performance test, and you can use it to understand how many nodes and what kind of setup you need. So actually, yes, answer for question, yes, ThingsBoard can handle 10,000 requests per second. And even more, it depends on actually setup.
Okay, perfect. So, but what is needed is like this microservice architecture, I guess, to have the scalability. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So there's also another comment. There's one participant saying we are managing 500,000 devices with around 3 billion messages per day. So this is indeed possible with ThingsBoard, this scalability options. Okay, there is another questions regarding ThingsBoard diagrams or widgets. So is it possible to hide, so it is possible to hide some data points, for example, if you have a line chart, and is it also possible to keep this selection with change of a dashboard state? So if you switch, this will be reset, I think, if I remember correctly. Could this be stored somehow or kept? But I guess this will be a new feature request, so.
Yeah, I also think about this maybe a few days ago and had the same situation. I think it will be feature in next releases, but for now it can maybe some kind of workaround is to use entity view maybe or markdown widget and design some kind of custom widget or put existing widget to the markdown widget. It is also maybe possible for now.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. So there is another question regarding the PostgreSQL database. So the comment is like, I think the PostgreSQL is the limiter for devices. Is ThingsBoard thinking about a new database to replace Postgres?
I'm sorry, but it is not clear actually for me what means under limiter, because it can handle really much data, and what actually is the point of the question? It is not clear for me. I can answer the second part of the question, and as far as I know, we are not going to change a Postgres to some another database. It may be done in the future, but for now we don't have plans to do this.
Okay. If I understood this question correctly, so I guess there are multiple ways to deploy ThingsBoard. So there's a single Postgres deployment, but there's also this hybrid approach to overcome perhaps certain limits from Postgres. So you can combine Postgres with Cassandra, so you have the scalability option already included. Also,
some kind of queue for incoming requests. Yes, we have some batch to write, and actually it may cause on big load issues. I think we will talk about this and maybe discuss this point, because I cannot answer at the moment. But for now, we don't have plans to do this.
Okay, perfect. So there's another question. We are building our own front end with React and only want to deploy it on ThingsBoard. Are there some limitations from ThingsBoard doing this?
Actually, if you are developing CA, you can use according to the license. It's not a problem. You can just use backend part. I see no issue with this.
Okay, so we also have customers which are using only the backend from ThingsBoard, for example, like firmware updates, OTA, for example, and then they build their own dashboarding on top of it. So this is also possible from my point of view, so from my experience. Okay. Maybe one last question, then if we look through the chat. So this regarding rule chain, is there a node in a rule chain then can function as a while loop generating specified messages with a specified timeout after this node has been activated by some message from a device. So it's like a while loop rule node.
There is no rule node like this for now, but actually we have a special rule node team, and you can send us a request for this. I think it may be added based on generator rule node. Or you can use for now some workaround like going to another rule chain and return back. It is old workaround. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed we did exactly the same thing in our previous projects. So we have, for example, two rule nodes which rule chains which are triggering each other, so like recursive executions. But there is also, if I remember correctly, there's a new rule node split array message to split array message, I guess. So you can also do similar with this, if you have like a large array of data. So you can split it from one message to a lot of messages, like for every
yes,
element.
you can use split array message rule node. Also, you can use a regular script rule node. It allows you to return array of messages, and it will be separated. So it is also possible.
Okay, perfect.
And yeah, by the way, according to this while loop, you can iterate over arrays that you want and create output for script rule node. It also may be as a workaround for this case.
Okay, perfect. Then thanks a lot for the questions in the chat, and also many thanks to you, Illia, for joining us today and answering the questions of the community. Yes, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you too for inviting. Have a nice day.
Bye, have a nice day. Okay, dann switchen wir wieder auf Deutsch. Dazu gehe ich nochmal in meine Präsentation rein und teile meinen Bildschirm. Den man jetzt sehen sollte. Genau, das heißt, noch eine kleine Ankündigung. Das heißt, es wird auch eine 5. Version des ThingsBoard User Meetups geben. Das wird voraussichtlich im November stattfinden. Das heißt, da sind wir auch wieder offen für das Call-of-Paper-Thema. Das heißt, wenn Sie spannende Vorträge haben, dann können wir da auch gerne drauf eingehen. Können Sie gerne auch vorstellen. Das heißt, um hier eben Einblicke auch zu gewähren, dass die ganze Community sehen kann, wie wird ThingsBoard genutzt, welche Optionen gibt es, wie kann man ThingsBoard eben einsetzen. Wir werden zusätzlich auch nochmal einen Chat, im Chat nochmal eine Umfrage haben. Das heißt, da können Sie gerne nochmal Feedback mitteilen. Das heißt, wie hat es Ihnen gefallen? Waren die Vorträge auch aus Ihrer Sicht spannend? Dann können wir dort auch gerne damit darauf eingehen und das beim nächsten Mal mit aufnehmen. Genau, dann möchte ich an dieser Stelle nochmal hinweisen, dass wir auch selbst bei ThingsBoard eben unterstützen können. Das heißt, wir haben häufig das Problem, dass man eben quasi so eine Art Quickstart braucht, um eben in das ThingsBoard-Thema reinzukommen. Das heißt, da sind wir jetzt auch offiziell von ThingsBoard zertifiziert, diese Schulungen anzubieten auf Deutsch. Das heißt, dort bieten wir die eben für Beginner und für Fortgeschrittene an. Wir unterstützen auch bei Workshops, gerade wenn es so in Richtung Skalierbarkeit der Lösung angeht. Da haben wir auch heute viele Fragen dazu gehört. Oder auch Themen wie Customizing. Wie kann ich das erweitern, Dashboards maßschneidern, Widgets maßschneidern, bis hin dann auch zu dem Deployment der Lösung und auch dem Solution Support. Das heißt, wir können auch bestehende Lösungen supporten und dort unterstützen. Genau, dann schaue ich nochmal kurz in den Chat, ob es nochmal Fragen gibt, Anmerkungen. Genau. Vielen Dank auch für das positive Feedback, das ich jetzt schon aus dem Chat lesen kann. Wie eingangs erwähnt, erhalten Sie alle Slides und Aufzeichnungen auch nochmal im Nachgangsmailing. Und genau, ich bedanke mich an der Stelle vielmals für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit, die vielen Fragen, den Input. Es war wie immer ein sehr interaktives Event und ich freue mich bis aufs nächste Mal, dass wir uns dann im November zur 5. Version wiederhören. Vielen Dank und schönen Tag. Tschüss.